Today I feel inspired to talk to y'all about self-doubt. This has been something I've been dealing with for the majority of my life. And I really want to lay out what it's done for me, how it's limited me, and held me back from just unlocking my limitless self and becoming the best version of myself, which I didn't really find out like that was even a thing until I want to say about a year ago. So we're talking about, because I'm 48 right now, we're talking about like 4 decades of my life where I believed that I was not enough, that I was less than, that I was unworthy. So in this video, I really want to unpack that we are not our thoughts, that we are more than enough, and that we are worthy, and that we are capable of achieving greatness as long as we have the belief in ourselves. So before we get into this, if you have not started Core 64, you need to get it done. Just start, commit to it, and it's 64 days. It's 64 days. It's something that is going to bring out the best in you. It's going to lift you up, and it's going to put you in uncomfortable situations that will turn out to be comfortable. Trust the process. Get it done. Get it done. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't delay. Do not drift. Get on path. Make it happen. Make the decision. Stick to it, and take those steps. Dos más. Take 2 steps. Take 2 more steps. Take 2 more steps. All right. So there was this study that was done back in the 1970s about self-doubt. And it was a study that I got from Dr. Sade Zakari. And she talks about it on her podcast. And basically what it is there was this professor in Dartmouth. His name was Robert Klein, I believe. And he had a study where he wanted to see how much he wanted to provide evidence for self-doubt and how people deal with that on a day-to-day basis. So he grouped everybody together, and he said, half of you are going to go out into the community, and you are going to interact with different people out there, and just, without a scar, just start conversations, just be authentically you, just be you. And everybody else, the other half of the people, we're going to draw a scar on your face, a scar all the way down your face that's going to be evident and clear that you have a scar on your face. And we want you to do the same thing. We want you to go out there and communicate with the populace, with the people, as if, and see how they treat you. We want to see what their react. We're going to be watching. We want to see what happens. And we're going to record this. So all the people were like, okay, let's do it. And so they got, before they went out there, they were like, wait, we got to put one more thing. For the people with the scars on your face, what we're going to do is we're going to put some moisturizer cream on your face. We want to really set this in so there's no mistaking that you have a scar on your face. Oh, okay. And so they applied the moisturizing cream, and they sent them out into the community. But what the people with the scar didn't know, that was not moisturizing cream. That was actually, they removed the scar off of their face. They removed it. So as they were out there thinking they have this grotesque scar on their face, they believed it in their mind. Their mindset says, I have this scar on my face, so people are going to treat me as such. The people are going to treat me as having this deformity. What happened? They're going to feel sorry for me. They're going to say negative feelings, and then they start self-judging, and they're not who they are. They're not their authentic selves. They're not acting as if they're on top of the world. They're not in a peak performance state. They're just limiting their thoughts and their beliefs because we are our thoughts. And And the people that were watching, they were looking down and they were seeing that everybody was not treating them any differently. They were not. They were treating them the same as people who went out there without the scars on their face. So what that got me to think about was, it said, if we are our thoughts and we create this illusion, this world that people, when they look at us, they just see our scars, which are invisible scars, because we're the ones believing that we have these scars when we don't. We don't. So the story that I can really set this in and set this home was when I listened to Dr. Sade Zakari talk about that. I remembered back in, I was just like, when did I start doing the self-doubt? Because I've been a person that has limited thoughts for the majority of my life. And even though I've accomplished a lot of stuff in my life and I've been able to, to put myself in uncomfortable situations and not hesitate, but there's still these thoughts that go in my mind, but like, am I really supposed to be here? And is there, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm, hesitating thoughts. And so when that really set in for me, when I became this people pleaser of not inconveniencing people and wanting people to see this fake persona, that I was doing all the right things and I never wanted to make a mistake or let anybody show. Never wanted to let anybody see that face of me making that mistake. It was when I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old. My dad was in the Navy, and we were stationed in Hawaii on Pearl Harbor. And I remember this clear as day. It was in the middle of the day. It was very sunny outside for us. It's Hawaii, and it's just Hawaii's beautiful. But so anyway, so I'm there, 5 years old. I'm in Hawaii. My parents are in the living room, and I'm starting to watch this show called MASH. So it kind of like, anybody doesn't know what that show is. It is this show that my parents, anybody, they would relate to it. As soon as they hear this song, and when you hear that, they're about to watch the show MASH, and I was like, I'm not watching that show. And so I left their room. I went to a different room, and I was like, I'm gonna start working on tying my shoes. And so I'm there tying my shoes, and I'm going through it. I'm like, okay, one here's a little loop. I'm practicing, and finally get it. So excited. I am so excited, ecstatic, and I'm like, I burst into that room where they're watching this show, and my dad's there, legs are up, and he's reading the newspaper. My mom is like ironing or something, and they're in there, they're together, and they got the show on, and I'm yelling at them. I'm like, I tied my shoes, and I'm like jumping up and down trying to get their attention, and there was nothing. Blank. There was nothing. Oh my goodness. That was one of the biggest letdowns in my life. Not because at 5 years old, what do we have to look forward to? Like what at 5 years old, like we're in complete imagination, creativity, and learning, and we're neuroplasticity, we're sponges, and it's just we're in our animal type brain, thought patterns and all that stuff. We want to learn, we want to do stuff, and so when I was 5 years old and I had that big letdown, ever since then, now I can recall that I never wanted to have that feeling ever again. I never wanted to face that feeling of being let down. So I adapted my identity to a person that would never inconvenience anybody or never put myself in a situation that was going to be let down. So I limited myself and I lowered myself, and I tolerated a lot of bullshit throughout my entire life, and which led me into relationships that I just should not have been in, And it was just, it's a snowball effect pretty much. When you start limiting yourself and you start thinking negatively, and you're doing these great things, and you've accomplished so much, and you got these beautiful children, and you can do things other people can't do, but you are your biggest roadblock. You're your biggest roadblock because you are believing that you are that, but other people look at you like, man, you got this. They believe in you, they support you, and they lift you up. But for me at that time, at that age, ever since then, not until I finally had that final breakthrough last year, where I had the courage to finally stand up and stick to path, is where I really started to just see the pattern of self-doubt, see the pattern that me telling myself that I'm not enough and that I'm not worthy, that I don't belong in this room. Bullshit, I belong in this room. I am the one for my family. I am going to make a difference, and I'm going to impact the lives of so many people by showing them what is possible, the potential and possibility. When we believe in our steps, when we believe that we have a purpose and meaning, and that we can do greatness with what it is, our gifts that we are born with, and share them with as many people as possible. So it comes back down to just really our mindset. We master our mindset, we master our lives. And so my mindset now is just really set on never having those limiting thoughts of self-doubt, and knowing that I am enough, and that the only person that can ever stop me from ever believing that is me. It's me. So, that was my thoughts here on what that was for me. And this resonates with you, and you feel like that you may be having these limiting thoughts yourself. Just know that that's not true. That is not true. And that you are enough, and that you are more than capable. And, proximity is power. Get around people who lift you up. Do not tolerate anything less than what you're worth, because we are capable and are the epitome of becoming. We can overcome to become, and it all starts and ends with our mindset. And then that comes back down to being resilient and building your cognitive functioning by doing hard things that start off as being very difficult. But guess what? Repetition is power. You do it, and then you find a way. You find a way. And that's all life is. And find different things that are going to lift you up and give you that feeling that you are enough, and that you are here to be that light for somebody else. Once you figure it out, once you see the pattern, and then now you're utilizing the pattern. And then the next step of mastery is you're creating your own patterns. Wow, that's it. That's the sauce right there. Tap into it. Tap into it. You are more than enough. You are worthy. Give it your best shot in everything that you do. Because why not? Why not you? Why not you? Yeah. So, okay. That's it. So continue to push yourself out there. Hey, there's no such thing as failure. It's just a setback. And it's a learning process. It's a learning process. So continue to grow. We're not growing, we're dying. So that's the evolution. That's the magic. Be inspired to inspire others. stick the path.